dear children of primary 5, this is our third lesson, and our third lesson is about game reserves in Uganda. But before we look at the game reserves in Uganda, I want us first go back and look at the previous lesson. So if you look at the previous lesson, we looked at game parks in Uganda, and we said that a game park is a large area of land put aside by the government to preserve wildlife. Then we went ahead and looked at the examples of game parks in Uganda, where we talked of Action Falls National Game Park, we talked of Chidepo Valley National Game Park, we talked of Mugahinga National Game Park, we also looked at Lake Mbulo National Game Park, Queen Elizabeth National Game Park, and we also went ahead and looked at the importance of game parks in Uganda. But for today, we are looking at game reserves. What is a game reserve? A game reserve is a large area of land set aside by government, to be turned into a game park. So we are saying that a game reserve is a large area of land set aside by the government to be turned into a game park. Now when you look at the game park and the game reserve, in game parks, poaching is not allowed. But with game reserves, there is controlled poaching. When you get permission, they can allow you to go and carry out poaching in game reserves. But with game parks, they don't allow poaching. Then after looking at the definition of a game reserve, we can also look at the examples of game reserves in Uganda. So we have examples of game reserves. Examples of game reserves in Uganda. So what can we give at the examples of game reserves in Uganda? Yes, one we have Pian-Wupe. We have Pian-Wupe Game Reserve. And this is the largest game reserve in Uganda. It's found in the northeastern part of Uganda. Then we also have Maseniko. We have Maseniko as another example of a game reserve. So we have Maseniko Game Reserve, still in the northeastern part of Uganda. Then we also have Ajai Game Reserve. We have Ajai Game Reserve. We have Ajai Game Reserve. And you can also talk of Katonga Game Reserve. We have Katonga Game Reserve. Then we also have Toro Game Reserve in the western part of Uganda. Toro Game Reserve. Maybe I can talk about Katonga Game Reserve. We have River Katonga in Uganda, and this game reserve is near River Katonga. Remember, River Katonga joins Lake George and Lake Victoria. So these are some of the examples of the game reserves that we have in Uganda. So the largest game reserve in Uganda is Pian-Wupe in northeastern part of Uganda. We have Maseniko Game Reserve. We have Ajai Game Reserve. We have Katonga Game Reserve. We also have Toro Game Reserve. And we have Bugogo Game Reserve. So these are some of the examples of the game reserves that we have in Uganda. So today's lesson is about game reserves in Uganda. But I've talked about game parks different comparing to game reserves in Uganda. Now after looking at the game reserves in Uganda, then we can also look at the tourism industry in Uganda. So we have tourism industry in Uganda. My beloved children of primary 5, what is tourism? Tourism is the act of traveling for leisure. So we are saying that tourism is the act of traveling. Is the act of traveling for leisure. So it can be for enjoyment or it can be for study purpose. So if they ask you what is tourism, you say tourism is the act of traveling for leisure. Then we have got two types of tourism. Types of tourism. We have two types of tourism. One, we have international tourism. Our first type is international tourism. My dear children of primary 5, we have ever seen Uganda receiving tourists. They are coming from different countries. So those ones are under this first type, which is the international tourism. Then some of you have ever tried to move from different parts of Uganda. Some of you have ever visited some water bodies in Uganda, some forests in Uganda, some game parks in Uganda. So when you go there, you'll be called a domestic tourist. And our second type is a domestic tourism. So when you move within your own country, you'll be called a domestic tourist. And the amount that you pay is also called a domestic income. So these are the two types of tourism. I said one, we have international tourism. In the two, we have domestic tourism. So these are the two types of tourism. Then they always ask about tourism. Why is tourism called an industry? Tourism is a source of income. Or you can say that tourism employs people. So in the case they ask you to give a reason why tourism is called an industry, you say tourism is a source of income. Then the tourism employs people. Then there is also another part where they always ask to give a reason why tourism is called an invisible trade. Why is tourism called an invisible trade? Tourism is called an invisible trade. Reason being that tourism does not involve the physical exchange of goods, but income is earned. So in case they ask you, make sure you differentiate between tourism as an industry and tourism as an invisible export. Then after looking at the types of tourism, we can also look at examples of tourist attractions in Uganda. So we have examples of tourist attractions in Uganda. Examples of tourist attractions in Uganda. So what can we give at examples of tourist attractions in Uganda? One, we have water bodies. We have water bodies. And under water bodies, we can look at the lakes. We have lakes and we also have rivers. So we have lakes, we have rivers, etc. are examples of water bodies. Then what else can we give? The second example of tourist attraction in Uganda can be climate. So if you look at Uganda, we have favorable climate. That's why we keep on seeing different tourists coming to Uganda. They always come to enjoy our tropical climate. Then we can also talk of historical sites. We have the historical sites, or you can say the Stone Age sites. Places where you can find the remains of early man. What else can we give as examples of tourist attractions in Uganda? So our number 4 can be culture. So we have different cultural practices in Uganda. Like I talk of We have the dances. We have the circumcision among the Bagisu in eastern Uganda, specifically in Mbale. So there are very many examples of cultural activities that we have in Uganda. So we are looking at the examples of tourist attractions in Uganda. One, I said we have the water bodies, and under water bodies we can look at the lakes and rivers. Then we have the climate, we have the stone age sites, or you can say the historical sites. Then you also have culture. So in your group, you can think about the examples of the tourist attraction that we have in Uganda, apart from the ones that I have given you. So our children, after looking at the examples of tourist attractions, then we can make this to be our lesson for today.